What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Canadian political parties. I feel like Canadians in general have a pretty good understanding of American politics, but us Americans have like zero understanding of Canadian politics, myself included. And so today I thought it would be fun to learn about the Canadian political parties and how they kind of compare and contrast to American political parties and how it's similar and different. So I have a little graphic here, and I can already see, based on this, that there are more than two political parties in Canada, which means Canada, you are already doing so much better than we have it here in America, where here you have to choose between two parties. Two, Democratic or Republican. You're either a donkey or an elephant. That is your choice. And if all of your viewpoints and opinions do not directly line up with these parties, then you're out of luck. That's all you have to pick from. So Canada here, I see, has at least five based on this graphic. If I pull up the Wikipedia of current parties, we have the Liberal Party of Canada, okay, Conservative Party of Canada, the Bloc Québécois, which I have not heard of. This is a Quebec, French Canadian political party. Quebec, sovereignty, social democracy, regionalism. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to learn more about that for sure. There's the New Democratic Party and the Green Party of Canada. There's actually a Green Party in the United States, actually. But you know, for all like realistic purposes, the US has two parties, and most people say, unfortunately, if you vote with one of the other smaller parties, your vote is kind of being thrown away into the abyss. It's not going to mean anything because either the Democratic or Republican candidate is going to win. So people feel like they can't even vote for the other fringe parties in America. I don't know if that's a similar feeling in Canada. When I take a look at this chart and I look at the MPs, I know a bit about how Canadian government is structured, I think. You're voting on MPs in certain political parties, and then the leader of that party becomes the prime minister. That's what I understand. So, if we look at MPs, the Liberal Party of Canada has 158 out of 338, which is why they're currently in power, right? That's how it works. And the Conservative Party has 117. That's a lot. Yeah, it's kind of close, huh? Not neck and neck. 158 for the Liberal Party, 117 for the Conservative Party. This is all interesting to me because this is like stuff I actually haven't seen before. Then the Bloc Québécois has 32, pretty small amount. Not nothing. It's 32. That's like 10% of the entire MP population, if you will. The New Democratic Party has 25. Again, not nothing. Not nothing. That's and then the Green Party has 2, which is not very much. I'm not going to beat around the bush. That's not very much. But it's something. The fact that there is representation in the Canadian House of Commons, so the Canadian government, in with all 5 parties, that's a win. It's a win in my book. You know, no matter how you cut it, that's good. There's different viewpoints being represented of the people. How that is split up and ratioed and stuff, you know, that's literally what determines who's in power and how election results work and all that stuff. So let's take a look at the Liberal Party of Canada to start out. Obviously, the first thing I think about with this is that this must be most similar to our Democratic Party here in America. Liberal Party is a federal political party in Canada. Espouses the principles of liberalism, sits in the center to center left. Ah, interesting. I feel like, and you'd have to check charts and data on this, that in reality in America, we have a liberal party, like Democratic Party, but it's definitely like doesn't really include the center so much. I think it's moved more left. Whereas in Canada, according to the Wikipedia, The center to center left is part of the Liberal Party. I don't know if that's accurate or not in practice. Oh, here's their logo. It's liberal with a leaf, a maple leaf. Very nice. I've also got Chat GPT here, AI, to help explain to me in simple terms the beliefs and policy priorities of each party, which I will go through for each party. For the Liberal Party of Canada, economic policy, mixed market, supporting free markets and government intervention for social welfare, social policies, gender equality, LGBTQ rights, multiculturalism. So far, this sounds just like the Democratic Party of the United States to me. Environmental policy, addressing climate change, renewable energy, environmental stewardship. Yep. Healthcare, strong proponents of universal healthcare, investing in education and post-secondary education. Oh yes, okay. That's the Liberal Party of Canada. And if I jump back here, they're currently have the most MPs, with the leader being, of course, Justin Trudeau, which most Americans at least know the name Justin Trudeau, but not really anything about the parties, I have to admit. This is all pretty new information to me. Conservative Party of Canada is the second with 117 MPs, led by Pierre Poilievre. I want to say his name right. Pierre Poilievre. I might be saying that wrong. I've never heard of him before. That might tell you something about like the average American's awareness of Canadian politics. Served as the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada and the leader of the opposition since 2022. Okay, cool. Conservative Party of Canada. Let's take a little peek at this. Their symbol is a conservative with a big C and a leaf. Very good. I love how all the Canadian things like have maple leaf. There's that sort of continuity there. It's very fun. Conservative Party of Canada, known as the Tories. The Tories. I've heard that word before. I didn't know what that word meant. Tories. Okay. Huh. Federal political party in Canada, formed in 2003 by the merger of two right-leaning parties. Oh, this was only 20 years ago when Canada formed a conservative party where they merged the Progressive Conservative Party and the Canadian Alliance. Really? The party sits at the center-right, to the right of the Canadian political spectrum, with their rival, the Liberal Party. Is there a Canadian political spectrum? It sounds like there is. Is that different to the American political spectrum at all? I'm looking at the Wikipedia here. I don't know. There's a little too much information there for me to determine, but I wonder if what Canadians consider the political spectrum of left, center, right is like different? That wouldn't shock me if it's a little different based on where you live in the world, what constitutes being left-leaning or right-leaning or center, what the definition is, can change. That's very interesting to think about, actually. Okay, let's jump to the AI, ChatGPT. Conservative Party of Canada. Economic policy believes in fiscal conservatism, lower taxes, reduced government spending, free market. That's very much in alignment with the Republican Party in the United States, for sure. Social policy supports traditional values, may have a more cautious approach to social change. Again, very similar sounding to the American right party. Environmental policy advocates for responsible resource development, prioritize economic growth over environmental concerns, national security and immigration, emphasize strong national security measures and controlled approach to immigration. Again, very much philosophies of the American Conservative Party as well, for sure. Okay, so far, none of this is shocking me, so those are the two biggest parties in Canada. The Liberal Party of Canada and the Conservative Party of Canada. Very easy, like literally in the names. You can see what those are. Those are the top two parties by far, controlling 275 out of 338 total MPs, by the look of it. Okay, Now on to some more Canadian political parties that I am not at all, well, I'm not familiar with the first two, but those at least sound like things I am familiar with here in America in terms of politics. But the Bloc Québécois, I don't know anything about. 32 MPs, led by Vez Francois Blanchette, leader, of the Bloc Québécois since 2019. Fascinating. Okay, so what is this party? This is like French Canadians? Like it's a little confusing to me because do all French Canadians, do all Québécois have to be part of this party? Do they all feel like you have to be part of the Bloc Québécois if you're a Québécois? Or are some like, no, I'm in the Liberal Party or the Conservative Party, or because when it's literally named after the Québécois, it's a lot of pressure to join this political party. It's a federal political party in Canada devoted to Quebec nationalism. Quebec nationalism. What does that mean exactly? Feeling political doctrine that prioritizes cultural belonging to and the interests of the Quebecois nation. This is just like trying to represent Quebec and the Quebecois in Canada's national government and the interests of Quebec represented in the federal government. Makes sense. Quebec is like very, very, very unique. Amongst the entire planet, the idea of Quebec in Canada is a fascinating existence. And they're also devoted to the promotion of Quebec sovereignty? Sovereign, like separation? Hold up. Wait a minute. What does this mean? Quebec sovereignty movement. Political movement whose objective is to achieve the independence of Quebec from Canada. Now that's saying something. That's not nothing. If you're part of the Bloc Québécois, do you believe that Quebec should be sovereign? Is that part of the ideology? That's interesting. So do you want representation in the Canadian government, or you just want to be separate? Because I know, if I remember my Quebec history, there's been 1 or 2 votes for Quebec to become independent from Canada, right? So this is a discussion that's happened, or is happening. And there's been votes, but it's never passed. So, if you're part of this party, you want Quebec to be sovereign? Separated? Independent? Is that fair to say? That's what the Wikipedia is telling me. That's kind of all I have to go on right now. Let's look at the ChatGPT Bloc Québécois. Quebec sovereignty. Primary focus on promoting Quebec's interests and the province's sovereignty. It keeps saying this word, sovereignty. Social and economic policy supports social democratic policies similar to the NDP, which is another party that I don't think I've learned about yet, with a particular emphasis on protecting the French language and culture in Quebec. That makes sense to me. You know, protecting the French language, French representation, culture. That would make sense as a purpose of this party. It's the sovereignty that's the idea of becoming independent is caught me off guard. Federalism argues for increased power and autonomy for Quebec within the Canadian Federation. So this is just arguing, this is contradictory. This is saying Quebec wants to be within the Canadian Federation, federal government, but have more power and autonomy, which is slightly different than being separate. Interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff about this, like the details I don't understand. I don't claim to understand everything. I'm just an American guy reading Wikipedia. But this is fascinating stuff to try to think about. Yeah, the idea of this Quebec political party, that's so unique. Obviously, in America, we don't have anything like that. That's uniquely Canadian. All right, next we have the New Democratic Party. 25 MPs, led by Jagmeet Singh? Yes. Canadian politician served as the leader of the New Democratic Party since 2017. What is the New Democratic Party? So is this different than the Liberal Party of Canada? How so? New Democratic Party, federal political party in Canada, widely described as social democratic, occupies the center left to left wing, sitting to the left of the political, sitting to the left of the Liberal Party. I think I can say and understand this. Founded in 1961. This is left of the left-wing party. You know what? This almost feels like something that could exist here in the United States. For sure. For sure there's people who would identify as being more left-wing than center left or left. And the ideology and opinions are different enough, I think, for sure, with those individuals, that it could definitely be a different party. I mean, this just begs the question, like, ideally, would we all have, when you split hairs like this, and you have the New Democratic Party, should there be a new Republican Party? Should there be a party for, like, center left, center right, left, super right, super left? There'd be like 7 parties or something. Maybe, but it's also kind of hard because then you can have an opinion that's part of the center left, and you can also hold a fiscal opinion in the center left and a social opinion of the right or center, and you can mix and match. I know, crazy stuff here. People can actually have opinions that across party lines. You can have nuanced, different opinions from that would be parts of different parties. It's crazy stuff to think about. Totally unbelievable. But New Democratic Party, I'm gonna look at the ChatGPT explanation of the New Democratic Party. But like I was saying before, this kind of thing just would also never gain traction in America, even if it could make sense. Because Americans just feel like there's two teams. And if you're voting for any other party, any other smaller party, you're taking away your chances from the team, which is a real sad sort of situation to be in. It'd be wonderful, if we had more political parties than really just two here, really. Although from what I'm seeing, it kind of looks like Canada is stuck in a similar situation as well, where you're really like in realistic, practical terms, you probably have to vote with the Liberal Party of Canada or Conservative Party of Canada, although, I mean, if you want to, I should specify, if you want to control who becomes the prime minister, that's the key. That's what I was trying to think of. Because the prime minister is determined by the majority party in Canada. This is very interesting to me. Here in the United States, we sort of vote on our presidential candidate directly. Not really, but sort of directly. But in Canada, it's really quite indirect, from what I can tell, from what I understand. Maybe I'm wrong. You're voting for MPs, so you're influencing who the majority party is going to be, whether that will be the Liberal Party or Conservative Party, and then whoever the leader of that party is will be your prime minister. But the Canadian people, do the Canadian people control who the leader of the party is, and therefore the prime minister? Do you see what I'm getting at? I think I have a Wikipedia for this. Yeah. Leadership convention is held by a political party when the party needs to choose a leader. Right. How do the parties choose a leader? And I will get right back to what I was just looking at with the New Democratic Party. I went off on a little bit of a tangent here. In Canada, leaders of a party generally remain the party's de facto candidate for prime minister until they die, resign, or are dismissed. The leaders of the party. How is the leader of the party determined? How? Outgoing leaders retains the party leadership until their successor is chosen at a leadership convention, unless death or resignation of the leader. Okay. What happens at this leadership convention? What happens? Each association of a party holds a special meeting to elect fixed number of delegates to represent it at a leadership convention. Oh, I'm trying to cut to the chase here. One in a pure one-member, one-vote system, each party member casts a ballot. Each party member casts a ballot to elect the leader. There you go. So the MPs of your party hold a convention and elect a leader. Elect the leader of the party, who is going to be the prime minister. Do the MPs take into consideration the will of the people and who people want to be the candidate for prime minister? That's just the idea that the people of Canada don't directly control who the prime minister is strange to me, so I'm trying to understand it a little better. New Democratic Party, back to this, believes economic policy, supports social democratic economics, advocating for wealth redistribution, higher corporate taxes, increased social spending. This is literally just like the far left politics in the United States could easily be this party. Social policy promotes social justice, workers' rights, universal social programs, healthcare, education, prioritizes aggressive action on climate change, and advocates for peacekeeping and humanitarian efforts. Okay, that is the New Democratic Party. And finally, the fifth party of Canada, according to Wikipedia, with 2 MPs only, is the Green Party, led by Elizabeth May, Canadian politician, leader of the Green Party since 2022. Let's read a little bit about the Green Party. It's a focus on green politics, on renewable energy, helping the planet, going green. From what I understand, that's the same thing here in the United States. We have a Green Party. It's the 5th largest party in the House of Commons in Canada, which is not bad. And if I look here real quick, they have a central focus on combating climate change, sustainability, green economics. Yeah. Okay. Peacekeeping. Yep. Okay. That makes sense to me. That's the Green Party. So there you have it. Those are the 5 Canadian political parties. I didn't know there were even 5. So I'm already a little wiser than I was when I began this video. And I feel like I understand a bit more of how leaders are chosen, how the MPs are chosen, how many are representing the different parties, who the leaders are of the different parties. If I scroll down, there's a few more parties, registered parties, that are not currently represented in the House of Commons. There's more parties, technically. Animal Protection Party? Oh, that's a whole party. I mean, animal protection is wonderful. I like animals. But a whole party around them, that's difficult to, base a whole political ideology around. Centrist Party of Canada. Christian Heritage Party of Canada. Communist Party of Canada. Free Party of Canada is a minor political free party. Advocates for direct democracy, lower taxes. Libertarian Party of Canada. Marijuana Marijuana Party of Canada. Okay. Okay. Marxist Leninist Party of Canada. Maverick Party of Canada. People's Party of Canada. Rhinoceros Party of Canada. A lot of parties. Currently, all those parties I just mentioned don't have any representation, although this has 1 MP. People's Party of Canada has 1 MP. What is this? Placed on the right to far right of the left-right spectrum. Okay. That's kind of like the opposite of the New Democratic Party, by the sound of it. Well, there you have it. I think that's actually pretty good for now. I was trying to kind of condense a whole lot of nuanced and complicated political issues and opinions and parties into a short video here where I was just learning about what they are and their distribution in Canada. And this is actually really educational for me. I feel like I'm in a much better situation now to understand Canadian politics. So I'm actually real glad I took some time to do this. This was actually really nice. I enjoyed it. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with your thoughts on anything I learned here today, or if I misunderstood something. I'm sure I did. A lot of stuff here. Feel free to let me know. That'd be great. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.